How do we help our tech volunteers and our lyric slide operators specifically to take their role seriously? I've got 5 tips for you that will help you get a better result from your lyric slide operator, plus a bonus tip at the end that will really help your tech team feel super valued. I got a question recently from a student in the academy that said they have a lyric slide operator who thinks they can just show up to service without coming to rehearsal, but then they're messing up all the slides during service, and he's wondering, how can I help them understand that they are as important as the band to leading people into worship? Here is your first tip, and that is to speak value into your lyric slide operator, or all of your tech team, honestly. Help your tech team understand that they are just as important to the gathered worship experience as your musicians. It is literally not 2 teams, it is 1 team. We are 1 team in 2 different places. Some people are on stage, some people are in the back of the room, but we are 1 team. Some people play musical instruments and other people play technical gadgets and gizmos, but we are 1 team working together to lead the body in worship. And I love to tell my tech team that you are worship leaders. You might not feel like a worship leader, but you are just as critical to making the gathered worship experience happen, and therefore you are a worship leader. You're helping lead the congregation into worship. The amount of volume you give in the room, the amount of lights that you flash in their eyes, the timing of the lyrics on the screen, all play a part in helping people express their praises to God. And therefore, you guys are worship leaders, and I want you to take your craft and your calling as seriously as you can. Just because you're not on stage doesn't mean you're not important. Just because you're not on stage doesn't mean you're not critical and vital to the worship of God in our church. And so speaking that value into your tech team, not just once, but constantly, at every meeting, at every pre-service meeting, anytime you can, speak value into your tech people. And I have a bonus tip at the end that's going to really help you do that. So the first thing I would say is speak that value. Communicate clearly that they are important and that you cherish them and that they are worship leaders. All right, the second tip is to set expectations. Because you've infused that value, now you need to tell them that there is more expected of them as a tech person than simply showing up to rehearsal. Just as the band is practicing the songs at home, the tech team and the lyric operator should be practicing the songs, at least mentally, at home as well. And so you want to clearly communicate that. I think one of the biggest mistakes worship leaders make is they just don't clearly say what they mean. They hope that people can guess what is expected of them. No, just say it. Hey, listen, you're a part of this team, therefore I expect you to be practicing and I expect you to be at the rehearsal because we need you at rehearsal to be rehearsing for yourself, and we as a team need to get used to seeing the lyrics on the screen at the right time, and therefore all around it's better if we're all at rehearsal together. So just clearly set the expectation that you want them to be at rehearsal and you want them to know the songs before they even get to rehearsal. So clearly communicate your expectations. That's the second tip. The third tip is to set your lyric slide operator up for success. And what do I mean by that? I mean, help them know the structure of the song. You know, Planning Center, if you're not using Planning Center, you should be, not sponsored, just saying. Planning Center makes it really easy for you to put the order of the song sequence visible for all to see, including your lyric slide operator. So what I like to do is when I'm building my worship sets on Mondays, I like to verify that the song is showing the correct sequence so that when my lyrics person goes and puts the slides in order, that they have the correct order. And that way they're not doubling their work or wasting time building the wrong song structure. Now, I will say there are 2 different approaches to how you do the lyric slide software. Some people like to just have like verse, chorus, bridge, and then they just click the mouse and jump around back and forth without really having it laid out in a sequence. And then the other approach is to have the whole song completely structured as the band plans to play it. And that way all they have to do is press 1 button at a time. Personally, I like the second approach. Even if you plan to be spontaneous, I like to have a plan and then change the plan if I need to. But I like my lyric operator to only have to focus on 1 button. All they have to focus on is the timing. Press the button at the right time instead of where are they going and then they're dragging their mouse around. No, it's just 1 button and all they're doing is watching and listening and looking at the timing. That's my preference, and I would encourage you to take that approach as well, is to build the structure of the song in the order that you plan to sing it and just let them focus on 1 button at a time. Another thing that setting them up for success means is adding an MP3 of the order that you plan to play the song, so that way they can listen to it and they can practice in their mind switching the slides. At least they're getting a sense of the timing, the rhythm, and the structure of the song. Make sure your Planning Center plans have the MP3s of the songs as you plan to play them. The fourth tip is to define what you want. So there are 3 key phrases that I like to use when I'm training my slides person. So let me just say this, a person can't hit a target if you haven't first told them what the target is. So when I say define what you want, I mean literally tell them, this is what I want it to feel like, this is how I want it to be. And if you need to sit down in the chair and show them while you listen to an MP3 and click along, show them what you want, that's what you need to do. You need to give them a clear picture of what it is you want them to do. So let me tell you my 3 key phrases that I share with my lyric slide operator. Number 1, I never want a congregant's brain to interrupt their heart. I never want a congregant's brain to interrupt their heart. That is a phrase that I want my lyric slide person to think about, meaning I don't want a person in the church to think, what's the next word? What's the next line? I don't know. And then there's this anxiety. You never want the people in the pews to feel anxiety about what they're supposed to be singing. They should see it before they need to sing it. And that's the second phrase that I like to use. I want the church to see the words on screen before they need to sing the words on the screen. So first phrase, I never want a congregant's brain to interrupt their heart. Second phrase, I want them to see the word before they need to sing the word. And what I mean by that is you should not be putting the words up exactly when I'm singing them. That is too late. It needs to be a second before I sing them. They need to see it with their eyes before they have to say it with their mouth. So those are my first 2 phrases. And please feel free to steal these and use these with your lyric people, okay? Or just send them this video, I don't care. But if these phrases help you, great. Okay, and then the third phrase that I like to say is this, and this is a little bit more complicated, but follow me. When I sing the first sound of the last word on the slide, change the slide. So if the last word on the slide is Lord, when I say L, they can change the slide already. The church doesn't need to see that slide any longer. That word has already been seen. They're already in the middle of singing it. So the lyric operator can go ahead and move on to the next slide. So again, when I sing the first sound of the last word on the slide, change the slide. So those are my 3 phrases that I like to use to define what I want. So that was your 4th point, to define what you want. And also, hot take, what's wrong with 4 lyric lines on a screen at a time? Like, who decided in worship that it should only be 2 lines at a time? I mean, wouldn't 4 lines help people really take in the word and grasp it more fully? Like, I don't know who decided that only 2 lyrics get to be shown at a time, but I say we start a brand new trend and put all 4 up, or 6 lines at a time. Let's go crazy, okay? Okay, that's my hot take. And one more thing that I teach my lyric operators when I'm defining what I want is if I say the words, sing this with me, like let's say we're coming out of a verse or we're coming out of an instrumental and I'm getting ready to sing and I say, sing this with me, or sing this, or sing along with me. When I say those words, they should immediately put the lyrics on the screen, because it's so awkward for me to say, sing this with me, and then the congregation is like, okay, what are we singing? Like, it causes panic in the church. We want to sing along with you, Alex, but what are we supposed to sing? So if I ever say the words, sing this with me, I want the lyric operator to immediately click to the next slide so that the church can get ready to sing with me. Okay, so one more tip for you in training your lyric slide operator, and that is to correct when needed and celebrate often. So I actually have a free resource under this video called How to Have Hard Conversations. It's a free ebook. You can put your email in and grab that. If you need help correcting your team members and you're not really sure how to have these kind of corrective conversations, this ebook will really help you feel more confident and comfortable to have these confrontational conversations. They're not scary and they don't have to be mean, and this ebook will equip you with how to do that. So correct when needed and celebrate when successful. So how I like to correct is to tell them what they're doing well and then to offer a suggestion. So if you have to correct your lyric operator, you would say something like, hey, you're doing a great job at this, and I love how responsible you are in this, and whatever, share some praise, and then say, but if I could just please make one small request, could you also start doing this? So you start by telling them what they're doing well, and then you ask for one small request. Could you also please make sure that you're hitting that lyric just half a second earlier? That would be so helpful to me and the team. And always, when you're correcting, always explain why. Because people might not like what you're saying, but they can get behind why you need them to do it. And then they'll be like, okay, I can do that, I get it. So explain the why when you're correcting. And then the other opposite side of that is to celebrate often. When you see them doing what you want, tell them, say, That was perfect today. The slides were perfect today. Great job. I'm so grateful for you. You're doing an awesome job, because what you celebrate gets repeated. What you praise gets repeated. So anytime you have a chance to call out and encourage someone, do it. Do it as often as possible. Okay, so those were my 5 tips, and I have one bonus tip that maybe you've never done before, but very important. And that bonus tip is to call out your tech team in the service. Not call out in a bad way, but call out in a good way. I want you to actually, after the time of singing is over, after you pray and say amen, before you tell the church to greet one another or whatever you do at that time, say, hey guys, for 1 second, can we all just look back at the sound booth and can we just give a big round of applause to Brian and tell him how grateful we are for setting up all the tech and making these services happen. And we couldn't do this without him. We couldn't do it without all these volunteers, and name as many of them as you're able. If you do that in service, 1, they're going to hate you because they're mostly introverts and they're like, please stop making people look at us. But 2, they're going to feel so validated and valued, and they'll probably come up to you afterwards and say, thank you for doing that. Like, no one's ever done that before. So look, I'm giving you a pro tip right here. Like, you will become the hero worship leader of the day or the week or the month if you do that. So call out your tech team in the service in the best kind of way and ask the church to applaud them and give thanks to them. And it might even help you get more volunteers. So anyway, grab that free ebook, How to Have Hard Conversations, under this video. And if you want to try the Worship Ministry Training Academy, you can try it for just $1 and get 15 days of full access to our 10 in-depth courses. Also, you get live access to me. That's where this question came from one of our students. And you get our live expert interviews, all of our done-for-you documents, admin systems, audition process, onboarding documents, musician training material, discipleship material. It's all there for you, all done for you. You just take it and implement it in your ministry. And it's $1 to try for 15 days. So I hope to meet you inside of the Academy. Otherwise, click on one of these videos that YouTube's recommending, and I will see you in the next one. God bless.